this leads us into our obligatory Maller monologue on LeBron James. Yeah, let's get a little kitchen timer with the sands of time. And as I mentioned earlier, I was on, and I said, you can't go more than a certain amount of time without talking about LeBron James or you get in trouble. So maybe you've heard the latest, maybe not. There were a couple developments here since I last spoke to you. Now, we were told that LeBron's relationship, very dramatic here, LeBron's relationship with the Lakers is said to be, quote, tense. And his guys, his posse, furious with GM Rob Pelinka, not over his skinny jeans, but for not genuflecting to LeBron James's demands. So that was one of the stories. And then the athletic beat guy for the Lakers dramatically reported the vibe within the organization feels like the early days of war. Ooh, that's deep. But then you had a secondary story going around from Shams, who also happens to work for the Athletic, and he says everything he's been told. LeBron plans to be a Laker for the foreseeable future, close quote. All right, so these are two polar opposite reports. We have dueling pianos here. We have one report that says that this is the early days of war between LeBron and the Lakers, and then another report saying that LeBron will be a Laker for the foreseeable future. So let us discuss the question. Is LeBron renting or is LeBron buying property in the Laker locker room? And so the answer here is rent. You're renting. I've got Craigslist, Van Halen, and Pravda. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make caffeine is what we're going to make. A nice, wonderful round of caffeine. There you go. I've got my own caffeine right here. So, listen, not only is LeBron renting, he's not on a year lease or a 6-month lease. He's on a month-to-month situation. It's known as downsizing. I believe that's the term, downsizing. And with every Laker loss, you get out the hammer, you get out the nails, it's another nail in the coffin. And LeBron James has been selling his belongings piece by piece. He's on the internet right now. He's over on Craigslist, and you go buy LeBron's sofa. You can get that because when he moves, he's going to get a new sofa. And if you want to get some of his old clothes, you can do that as well. He's keeping his options open. And LeBron, if you look at the book of LeBron, and you look at what he's done, his track record would lead you down one path and only one path. But LeBron looks at the Lakers, and he's like, all right, this is a verkakta roster. And you do the math on this. LeBron, even though his statistics are up near the roof, he's in the twilight of his career. He's not interested in playing on a middling team. And so this is not his first trip to the circus. He's been to the circus before. LeBron has treated this, as he has other outposts, as a seasonal employment, a short-term stay, mutually beneficial. And the Lakers, with their historians and all that, they allowed LeBron to hang regularly with movie moguls and enjoy those Hollywood nights year-round. Get A-list right now. Before, he would have to come into SoCal from Cleveland or Miami. It's a little different. But now he's living amongst the locals here. And he can schmooze at Mr. Chow or the Ivy or Spago and have a wonderful time any night he wants, as long as the Lakers are not on the road. Now, part B of this, is it true that agent Rich Paul, bestie of LeBron James, feels like the Lakers as an organization are ungrateful? The Laker franchise, remember here, we talked about this in a previous episode, they were in a deep, dark place. They were the crummy franchise post-Kobe Bryant, and even the last couple of years Kobe played, they sucked. Failed lottery picks, no direction, up and down, all over. Actually, up was down, and I think right became left for several years. And LeBron James, according to the people around LeBron, is the Messiah. He saved Jeannie Buss from becoming the female Donald Sterling or James Dolan. Now, we are told by a source who is connected to the situation that Team LeBron believes the Lakers should have and should continue to do whatever LeBron wants. Now, that has not been the case, allegedly, if you believe the scuttlebutt, and I'm skeptical about that, but think Van Halen, that song Jump. If LeBron says jump, then Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka in his skinny jeans are supposed to say, how high should I jump? They are subordinate to LeBron. They're non-essential, even though I think Jeannie owns the team, although the NBA doesn't like that word. It's taboo. The wokesters in the NBA don't like the word owner, but Jeannie does own the Lakers, and Rob Pelinka, I don't know, he's just kind of along for the ride. So let's see, hold on. Kings don't listen to peasants, but country bumpkins are supposed to follow the orders of the monarchy. Now, the last word on this. So LeBron and his team have been very successful, very, very successful at spinning stories in their favor, spinning the yarn, as Rumpelstiltskin so famously taught us back in the day, the great fairy tale. And this latest one is classic weasel language. It's used most often by Wall Street. Now, Shams Charania got in on this. He said, for the foreseeable future. So as you know, I am a person that studies weasel words. Pop goes the weasel. Foreseeable future. It's an intentionally vague phrase. And of course, that's by design here. Is your idea of the foreseeable future the same as mine? And I mentioned Wall Street, but people that advise you on investments love the term foreseeable future, because it essentially means until something changes, but that's not how people hear it. It's kind of like when you go shopping online or you go to the mall and they say up to 75% off. People just skip past the up to, and we're all hardwired the same way. You look at it, it's like, all right, 75% off. And then you get in the store, you go on the website, and you're like, well, wait a minute. Most of the stuff's like not even marked down at all, because you overlooked, your mind did a hop, a skip, and a jump past up to, and foreseeable future is like a cousin of up to. It just means until something changes. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, things are always changing. And as the kingpin of the NBA, LeBron, he knows a thing or two. He also owns a thing or two, including some fog machines. And he's got enough useful idiots who are on the payroll under the umbrella that they can take care of business. And most people watch this stuff casually. I get it. You're a sports fan. You're not obsessing over every grain of sand on the sports beach. But I wonder how many people, if they knew what really was going on behind the scenes, would have a different perspective on this kind of stuff. Now, let me get to it right now. Shams is at the very top of the list of people that are very helpful to LeBron James. Now, no disrespect. He is the chief competitor. If you're a connoisseur of the NBA rumor, you know that Woj is the gold standard for NBA dirt, but his chief competition is Shams Charania. And those scoops have a price. Shams, when it comes to LeBron, is the Pravda news service. All things LeBron. All right? Now, what is my evidence? Shams is represented by the United Talent Agency. You probably aren't familiar with that unless you're in entertainment or you have an agent, whatever you might be doing. It's United Talent Agency, which partnered. Well, you don't follow this stuff. Partnered with Clutch. Now, that's LeBron's baby that he claims he has nothing really to do with, but it's all people underneath him. So this a few years ago, they formed a sports division, Clutch and United Talent Agency. The person that runs that division for the talent agency is a person by the name of Rich Paul, a longtime associate of LeBron James. So this cat, Shams, is reporting breaking NBA news about Rich Paul's clients, wink, wink, nod, nod, while being an underling of Rich Paul. There is no conflict of interest. It's like the WWF. You just broke the fourth wall, my man. So Shams is the minister of propaganda, if you will, when it comes to LeBron for Clutch Sports. And it's not just him. That list of clients includes Anthony Davis, Ben Simmons, Trae Young, John Wall, Darius Garland of the Cavaliers, and there's many other name brand players who are on that list. And so that's where we are right now. You say, well, that's the story LeBron wants out, the story of he will be a Laker for the foreseeable future. The other story, which is the more believable story, is LeBron is looking around saying, let's see, where can I cherry pick a really good situation? Where do I have to go? And I will go anywhere. Where do I need to pop up on the radar around the NBA? Anything is in play here. Anything is in play.